Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Pop Funkoverse video unboxing. This is for the first set, the big four-person or four-character box set for Harry Potter. I'm going to admit right off the bat, I don't know a ton about Harry Potter, so some of the abilities and stuff like the details on the scenery and things like that, I might not get or understand, or I might pronounce some of the spells or abilities wrong, so I'm going to apologize for that right off the bat. If you want to know more about how to play the game, check out my How to Play, where I actually go through an instruction booklet. Otherwise, we're going to jump in and look at what is in this set. So like I said, you're going to get four characters. We're going to get Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, of course, he who shall not be named, Lord Voldemort, and Bellatrix Lestrange. So it's usually divided between, in sets like these, it's good guys and bad guys, so the two kids versus the other two. You're going to get your four bases, two black, two white, more or less just to separate teams. You don't have to play good versus bad. The Harry Potter characters also have one unique aspect that so far nobody else has, is they all have a wand in their hand. Which makes sense because their abilities they're going to do are going to involve them casting wands, but they're non-removable. And we'll look a little bit closer at the detail of the wands because they are actually all different, which is really neat too. But yes, it's not neat because everyone else usually has like a hand for holding an item and then an open hand. So these are the Harry Potters are the only characters so far that have an item always in their hand. What also is interesting is it makes every character's other hand, for their any other thing they carry, a left-handed item. There's been a few left-handed characters, and I don't know if it actually someone just decided to mold them that way, or if they actually made it so that left-handed characters are left-handed and right are right-handed. If that's the case, that means every character in Harry Potter is typically right-handed. Or possibly and by oh, I'm gonna mess it up. They can use both hands. I'm gonna stop there. Alright, we're gonna slide all the characters out of the way. We're gonna look at the basic components that are in every game. Or pretty much every game. You're gonna get your 6 combat dice, which have the challenge side, the defense side, and the exclamation side, like the crit side. You're gonna get your 6 exhausted tokens. 1 for each character, plus 1 for each of the 2 generics. So we're going to get our 2 generics, which are a Death Eater and an Aurora. I'm not sure, I'm probably brutalizing that. First player marker with a black and white side. Your control counters, which are squares. Your point counters, little crystals with letters on the back. And then your stars and your flags, just for leaders and flag modes. So those are all the... Oh, I got everything back way too far. Let me zoom back out a little bit. There we go. So that's all your generic tokens and everything you're going to get. For the different gameplay modes, we're going to slide all those off to the side. You're also going to get your 21 point counters. Harry Potter's are this, let me see if I can zoom right in on those. They're kind of like a light blue, which matches the theming of like their sets. Like all these are kind of like a light blue. And then we have our skill counters. So we're going to get a couple of yellows, got 3 yellows, and now I'm zoomed in too far. 3 yellows, 3 grays, and 2 blues. So it's leadership. Ingenuity, usually it's like tech type stuff, but this I'm sure it's more like knowledge of like magic and that, and then movement. There are no red ones, which are usually like the aggression, or like physical ones, which kind of makes sense for magicians not to be like the most physical one. You're also gonna get your 2 box art picture, your 2 cooldown counters. So same as everything else. Alright, so now we went through all that. Slide this stuff out of the camera. We're going to look at the maps. Oh, now I got to try and remember what these maps are for. what the names. The newer sets started telling you what, like actually on the thing that actually said what the maps were. The older sets don't. So I have to see if it has a thing that tells me specifically what this is. I believe this is, and again, I'm not familiar with Harry Potter, so I believe this is the Diagon Alley. So like where they get to buy potions and stuff. I was trying to see if it just had a listing in here, and of course it does not. So I'm gonna probably, yeah, Diagon Alley, and the other map side is the Room of Requirement. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, those terms will mean a lot more to you than they do to me. I know this is where they go to buy their stuff at the beginning of the game, or beginning of the movie. So like all the other maps, it's fairly symmetrical, but this actually has a little bit of differences on the center here, because they have a bigger room on this side, a smaller room over there, and like 2 big rooms over there and 2 smaller ones on this side, which are kind of neat. But like these 2 rooms are the same, those 2 rooms are the same, so like each side is symmetrical to each other, but not left and right, which is usually what they do. But yeah, you can go in between all the different rooms and that. It's just kind of neat. So let's look at what we can do in there, and then we'll look at the details. So we have the flag mode, which is basically capture the flag. Your starting area, opponent's starting area, you try and run up, grab their flags, maybe run over adjacent, collect some points. And then we have control, which is you try and run, you try and take control of the little square in the area. And if you have it at the end of the turn, you gain item or gain points. Otherwise, collect points from these A, B, C, D, or knock down your opponents. Fairly basic, different ones. Kind of neat that the control areas aren't in the rooms, they're out in the middle. Alright, so we're going to try and look at this board and see what some of the little details are. And again, I might not catch everything, but that's why I like still looking over this. So there's this is what's like a little sort of block store. I am not sure what is going on here. There's these big giant long blocks. They pull out of these cabinets. Wand shop, I bet, because of some wands. I wonder if those are storage boxes for wands. And if I am wrong, I apologize. So we kind of go over there, keep scooting along. Here's a broom shop. Looks like maybe Quidditch, because they have some of the different tapes. I would say, I believe, the Quidditch armor. Again, I don't know everything about this, as is like the foot straps I think they use. I don't know everything. I've seen the first movie. I've seen enough stuff about Harry Potter. So here we have the Gringotts Bank. Big, giant, long bank here. Nothing extra special in there, it doesn't look like. We flip over to the corner store here, which is a little tavern or an eatery, like a restaurant maybe. Flip to the other side here, we have the candy and snack shop, which I know they have like the chocolate frog legs, are one of the big treats there. I don't know a whole lot else. This little character looks like they're throwing up into that bowl. But yeah, I'm sure all these little boxes of treats and stuff. Let me see if I can maybe zoom up on them for everybody. You'd probably just recognize these more than I would if you know these things. But that's what I love about the little details on these games. I got excited about the Batman one. I'm sure other people got excited about this. Will get excited about this one. So here's a bookstore. There's a little thing up here. I don't know what that is, but it looks like it could be something important. And then the only other thing would just be outside the shop. There's a little owl. and the street. So nothing else too much there. Alright, so that's that. Now let's look at the Room of Requirement. I don't know any idea of what this is or what this is about. Usually one side of the maps are usually aimed towards the good characters, so that was probably, you know, Harry Potter and Hermione's side. This is Bellatrix and Voldemort's side, so it's maybe something, I'm sure that's something to do with them. But we'll look at the details. So, in that one, we get territories. So you start in the area, you want to try and control or be standing in the middle. You get more points the more characters you have in there. And we have leaders. We select your special leaders, and you gain more points for knocking out higher level characters with your higher level characters. Maybe you can read on the side here exactly how that works. But yeah, so it's sort of an open map there. You can kind of see a lot of different areas you can go in here, but you kind of gotta run around these big piles of junk, and there's stuff in the middle. So it makes you a little bit, you know, more of like a hide and seek game almost, because you gotta kind of like hide back here. You can maybe try and run around, and your other characters spend more time maybe getting around. Alright, so let's look at some of the details on here, and I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of stuff that makes sense to people that aren't me. So here's a pile of chairs. There's like a harp. There's a Quibbler book. There's some Quidditch stuff laying there. Some statues. There's this golden egg. Might be a phoenix egg. I don't know. It could just be a golden egg. Here's another stack of like boxes and things. There is a, oh, it's maybe a wanted poster. I'm guessing that might be Sirius Black, if I know anything about this, which I don't. That cup looks oddly detailed, so I'm sure that cup or goblet here has something to do with it. And again, I apologize to people listening to me talk about this and be like, oh, you're an idiot, you don't know what that goblet is, or that this sword is something special. And it's like, you're absolutely right. I buy all these different sets because I like all the extra items and maps and characters and all the other different stuff I can do on them. Not because I necessarily know everything about it. I mean, I bought it. There's a Game of Thrones set out there. I don't know anything about Game of Thrones, but it gives me more characters to play as. So here's some more junk pile stuff. Some armor, some green goo. And the final corner. Alright, so that's what we have for our map. Gotta figure out how we close it. Alright, let's look at the characters, cards, abilities, skills, all that fun stuff. The stuff you probably came to actually look at. We have our generic characters. We have Aurora. It's just kind of like a good one. I don't know who that is specifically or what that is. And then we have a Death Eater. So your generic characters that you can pop in to help you out. So let's look at some of our characters. Let's start with Hermione. We'll do... Alright, so here's her little pop. She's got a little... Now you can see there's some detail on her wand, which is actually kind of cool. So it's got a little pattern on there. And I'm sure it mimics what her wand looks like. You know, as close as you can with something like this. But that's definitely cool. With her wizarding robes. So she has 1 defense, which isn't very common. Most characters have 2 defense, but I'm assuming that's because she's going to be more of a ranged character. So she has Loyal Friend. Adjacent allies cannot be knocked out while Hermione is standing. Yeah, so they basically have to take her out before they can take out your other characters, so that kind of makes it a little bit harder. She has Impedimenta. Range 3, challenge 2. If you win, also shift one of your opponent's cooldown. Your opponent's ability tokens up 1 number on the cooldown track. Yeah, so there she's hitting from a range, and she just mess with your opponent. Descendo. Shift all ability tokens on your cooldown track down one number. And Acido. Pick an ally or token Hermione can see, and that is within 3 spaces. Place it adjacent to her. Oh, so you can bring people near her, so that's kind of cool too. So she can basically use her middle one to make her abilities so you can use them quicker. Then she can like mess with her opponent's track to slow them down. Or she can bring characters closer to her. Or right next to her. So that's kind of neat. She does not have anything extra special though. So because she doesn't have anything extra, we'll look at one of the items. So, I don't know if these specifically go with her. Usually I can tell which characters they go with. So she is going to get the Felixus. So then we add it to her hand. It's just, I don't know why it's a yellow on there and why they made it a little white object on here. And yes, it has a little stick on there, but that's just because that's how you have to make the characters hold the items. But it's a little potion that she can use, which says, and again, any character can use these, not specifically just her, but she doesn't have any, some of the other characters have special cards, so I wanted to show off this one. When this character challenges a target, you may place this card on the 3 of your cooldown track. Before you roll a dice, set 1 dice to the triple instead of rolling it. So actually, that works fairly well with her. Because yeah, you could set that so you could automatically win your top challenge if you needed to. Yeah, you can't move the tokens down. But you're gonna put it on spot 3. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Good defense, I guess. You could definitely hit someone with that. It's also interesting because this is earlier on. This is one of the first, I don't know, like the second set that came out. So it doesn't have a little number in the top. All the newer ones would have a little 3 up here in the top. They would say if you use this, you have to put it on the 3 spot instead of writing it here. So if they like updated this, it would just say challenge a target, but before you roll the dice, it would skip all that middle part. And then you just say item on the back. Alright, up next, let's look at one of the other characters, the other females. We're looking at Bellatrix Lestrange. So here's her. She's got this cool button-up vest cloak, I guess. Her wand is a little bit different, because I'm going to slide that a little bit so you can see it. It's, yeah, pointed, kind of like almost like a gun, versus like the other characters where theirs are like straight up and down. That's kind of neat, just how I think it's meant to look more like the picture here, or more like she has it in an angle. But still neat. So she has Notorious Witch. When Bellatrix shifts off the cooldown track, you may place her adjacent to an ally. So yeah, she kind of like Hermione, she can get right next to somebody if she needs to. She has Confundo. Range 4, challenge 2. Give a Confundo status card. Alright, so she's going to have these special status cards, which will have her name on them, and she gets 2 of them. So what Confundo does says, the next time this character does the ability action, increase the cost of this ability by 1, then remove this card. And you can add 2 of them. So if a character keeps refusing to do it, you can always throw another one on them. Or you can give it to multiple characters. She has Imperio. Control a rival Bellatrix can see if in 3 spaces. Make them do a basic action. That's kind of neat, because you could force them to move, or do something different like that. Interact with something, maybe. That'd be kind of neat if they had traps, I guess. Like if you walk onto this space or something, that'd be kind of neat. Too. Otherwise, I think your basic actions are move, challenge, assist, and interact. So I don't know why you would do anything other than move them with an action. because it has to be a rival. So I know why it doesn't just say it probably just left it generic in case there's something else. But it'd be neat if they had other things or bad things to interact with. Anywho, so she's got Mors Mordrai. Place Bellatrix on one of your cooldown track. You can use this while knocked down. Especially if she's knocked down, you can pay 1 to get her back on there quicker versus spending extra actions or having someone help her out. She's kind of a support character. A little bit different, but that's fine. Alright, then let's go to the other baddie. We're going to look at He Who Shall Not Be Named, Lord Voldemort. So yeah, I think they captured the likeness pretty well. As far as I can tell, he's got like this neat bone-looking wand with like a handle to it. It's also neat because he has a cloak on. So here they do show he has feet. Here it just has a cloak, so he just stands there. I find that interesting. So he's got 1 defense as well. He has the Dark Lord. When Voldemort is knocked out, place him on your starting area. You may then immediately move him 2 squares. Fiend Fire, sorry. Costs a lot. Costs 4, but it's... Oh, range 2, challenge 6. That's why. Challenge 6 means you're probably not going to lose. You can roll 6 dice versus someone's 1 or 2 defense generally. Configuring, though. Challenge, range 4, challenge 2. So less challenge, but a lot more range. Then do a challenge 2 to each rival adjacent to the target. Oh, so if allies get together. And that's for Bellatrix to move someone next to someone else. That's kind of neat. Upon the go, an ally Voldemort can see within 4 squares may do a basic action. Neat, so you kind of control someone that way, sort of like a leadership. Yeah, interesting. So we're going to show off, because he doesn't have any special cards, we're going to show off the other item card. The other item you get in the game is a dagger. So he gets this silver little dagger. Which says, Challenge 2. This character may do an extra non-challenging action. That's neat. He can get if he does get near them, with his 1 defense, it gives him... Oh, so this does have the little challenge marker, or the little symbol on there. So I wonder why the other one didn't. Huh. Weird. Yeah, so he kind of Voldemort, like lots of his other 2 attacks are below the range. Just gives him a nice close-up attack. Then he can do a non-challenge action. So someone gets next to him, he could stab them for 2. And then you could turn around and do the challenge 6 or do the challenge 4, hit a bunch of people. You know, kind of neat. Alright. Then our last titular character, we of course have Harry Potter. So there's Harry, his wand, which is the most basic looking of all, because of course. And then you can see his scar. It's really white up there. It would have been neat, I guess, if they maybe made it a little bit like red or something. The glasses are definitely cool because you actually like see through. Not see-through, there's no lenses or anything, they kind of stick off his face. It's kind of cool. Alright, so what's Harry Potter do for us? He has the Boy Who Lived. When Harry is knocked down and defends against a challenge, change 1 of the hit challenge markers on the die to a shield after his defense roll is made. So he gains an auto defense every time. That's sweet. Only if he's knocked down, though. He has Flipendo, challenge 3 to all adjacent rivals. Then you may move each target 1 space. That is pretty darn powerful. I mean, you have to be right next to him, but, yeah, just being able to move everyone away then. Expelleramus? Challenge, range 3, challenge 2. Take an item card from the target. Place it on the 2 of their cooldown track. So that's kind of, you know, you steal someone else's item. Not steal it, but you can, basically make them so they can't use it for another couple of turns. And Protago. Or Protect Go? Protago? I'm not sure. Pick pick an ally Harry can see within 3 squares. Give them the Protego status card. So he also gets a status card. So he's going to get 2 of those. And they're going to say, increase this in character's defense by 2, discard after defending. Yes, if you watched some of the other unboxings for these, you can definitely see where these guys have a lot more, like, move these guys around or get next to them and do, like, a area of effect attack versus, like, the first set that came out, which is Batman and DC, and a lot of that was either moving around the board quick or doing a lot bigger challenges. These guys have a lot more, like, defense and maybe a little bit more strategy to them than maybe just straightforward doing stuff. Yeah, so that's cool though. That's the whole point of this. You buy characters, you get different effects. Alright, so that was Funkoverse. Harry Potter set number 1. It's actually, the way they list these is they list these as like 00, I believe. If I wanted the card to show it, yeah, it's like set, that was just some like number 100, and then the next set's like 101, 102. So it's the first set though. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye.